Great. Welcome everyone to the Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. We are here at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall of Norfolk. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, notice was previously provided that the Planning Board will be meeting here on this evening at 7 p.m. in Town Hall Meeting Room 124. Members of the public are welcome to attend the in-person meeting or remotely via Zoom. Please note that the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection. If you need connectivity access, you can access that from our town website. This meeting will also be recorded for future enjoyment on the town's YouTube page. So tonight we do have a pretty full agenda. We do have a couple public hearings. We have a public hearing at 7 p.m., which we are a few minutes late for, and then we have another one at 7. Well, we have an appointment at 7:15, and then another public hearing at 7:45. That would conclude all of our assigned meetings, and then we do have some new business items to go through. So let's get started with our first public hearing, which is 28 Union Street, and this would be a continuation from the August 15th, 2024 meeting. And so this is for a special permit to install 3 new wireless telecommunication antennas on the water tower with associated equipment and a 5-foot by 7-foot platform for Dish Wireless LLC. So we will continue that public hearing from our last meeting.
Right. We have Robin is here from Dish Wireless to present.
Excellent. Welcome, Robin. Can you hear us?
Welcome. How is everyone?
Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I'm trying to share, but it's not letting me share the drawings to go over it.
I'll give you access.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm just going to go through the construction drawings, and if you have questions while I'm going through them, please let me know.
Okay.
It's pretty cut and dry what's going on, but I'll go through each page.
You should be all set now, Robin.
Okay. Okay, is everyone able to see?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so the first page, this is just the cover page showing the water tower at 28 Union Street in Norfolk, Mass. So I'll just move on to the next page, which will be the overall site plan. So here's the water tower over here, and it shows in their circle point. I don't know if you can see where I.
Yeah, I can see. We can see your cursor.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is where the ground equipment will go on a 5x7 steel platform. So moving on to the next page, which will show where the elevation is, the layout of the antennas. So the dish antenna would be this antenna right here. So that's one of them. They will be installing 3 antennas. So this antenna right here they call alpha. The next antenna would be on this side, which would be beta, and then on this side is the gamma sector. And all these other antennas over here are from either our other carriers or the town police department or whatnot. And then down here by the ladder, it's just showing the cabling that will go down the water tower down to the equipment platform. So moving on to the next page, this just shows you the layout of the equipment platform, the 5x7 platform. This is one of the cabinets here for Dish. That's usually where they put the equipment. Sometimes some extra radios go in there, and it'll bring the power and everything up to the antennas. So moving on. This just gives you the details of each equipment. If anyone has a question on them, we can go over them, but it just gives you all the details of what equipment they're using and how many pounds it weighs and the specifications. The following page will be the electrical and fiber route which shows from the platform going out to the Dish Wireless meter socket over here. Moving on, that's just showing the electrical details with the telco boxes. Onto the next page is also the electrical information, the lines, what they're using, which is a 12240 utility service, which is what all the other carriers use. Moving on to this. These are just additional construction documents giving the construction keynotes on the grounding and the electrical work that they'll be doing. Same here. These are additional grounding details. So, and same with these pages. Plumbing diagrams. These are all the signs that they're required to put on the location. So this gives the information to the construction general contractor of what signs go where. And then the rest of it's just notes and concrete details for the general contractor. Does anyone want to have questions or want to go over anything else?
I didn't see any details with regards to where the equipment's being landed, with regards to any ground preparation that's going to be done. Is there any concern with regards to movement of the underlying structure that it's going to be placed on?
No, because it's going on a steel platform.
Oh,
so they'll put a concrete pad and then a steel platform on top.
Okay. Do you have those details somewhere? I didn't see that.
Those would probably be...
Thought I saw that on like page 4 or 5.
There's like, these are just details that I usually... So on the last page, GN4, the second to last page, called GN4, there's concrete foundations and reinforcing steel, so that will show you everything that they use regarding the concrete.
Okay.
But did you have you had a
guidelines,
drawing of the at least the steel platform? I don't think it showed the concrete
Yeah,
pad,
that's,
though.
yes, that's,
I think if you go down a little, yeah, you almost had
that
it.
was in one of the first couple pages.
Yeah, I was thinking it was in the first few pages you had a drawing of the platform.
Right here,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Got it. So
A3.
so that platform's elevated, and then
Yeah.
they're doing concrete under it, or the platform itself?
Yes, they'll put a concrete pad under it.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to see. Thank you.
Pad or piers?
The piers, yeah, but the piers, from what I'm understanding, is going to sit on the slab. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I guess not. Pretty straightforward, really.
It is, but I believe there was a letter from a resident.
I do remember that now that you mention it, yes.
I have it. Do you want me to
Yes.
read it? Okay.
Yes.
So she says, to whom it may concern, there is data supporting both viewpoints on the safety of cell tower and antennas, but I feel it would be prudent to postpone any further additions until more research has been done. There are 8 condos, which senior citizens, she's saying there are 8 senior citizen condos that are right behind it, or below these towers. Please consider our health and well-being. So maybe just some, I remember, because, you know, we started working on this a couple months ago when it first came up, and I did a little bit of research. It sounded like there wasn't a health concern.
No, this typically comes up probably in every one of these hearings. There's always someone that thinks, you know, there's frequencies.
Yeah.
But part of, so in that last page when I show the signage, they do these emissions testing, and that's when they're putting, obviously there's already multiple carriers on the water tower already. So any type of caution that may be needed you'd have to get, you know, right next to the tower, and they're not going to be climbing in front of the antennas. That's the only time that there's any type of issue, if you're climbing in front of it. like if they're working on the water tower, the water tower company would call the carrier and they would shut that antenna down while they're doing work.
Yeah, and Melissa, I do actually remember hearing something, it was either earlier this week or maybe it was last week, that there was some study done recently that had showed there's really no correlation or link to cell phone and like brain cancer or other things.
Yeah, I think I just found what I found previously. The dish is a receiving device.
That's been going on since they've been building cell towers.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure if that resident watches, she knows that, we have the answer. But,
It's good to read it in, thank you.
yeah, and I had found previously, so it says, so the dish is a receiving device. There is no concern of radio frequency exposure. Is that correct for this particular device? It's a receiving
Yes.
device? Okay.
Yep.
And if approved, when would you look to start?
I think they would probably be looking to start, so I'm assuming if you get approved, this is a special permit, is there an appeal period?
Yes.
Yes.
So it would be
20 days.
dependent on when the building permit could be issued, and then they could get a construction start scheduled. So as soon as possible, they're looking to do.
They've already filed for their building permit back in May.
Okay. Good deal. Do we have any residents on the call that have questions? I can't see if there's any hands up.
No, we do not.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
So there's no raised hands in the room. If the board doesn't have any other questions and there's no one on the call, then I think we can close the public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 28 Union Street.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, it's been it's been moved and seconded. We will, there's no need to do a roll call vote because we're all here today, and so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, public hearing is closed. So now we have a draft, do you have a draft decision for us to, yes?
There's a draft decision actually in your packet. I gave you a hard copy of it. I did make, since maybe the last version you saw, I changed some dates to reflect today's date.
Yep.
I updated the date, the address of Dish Wireless, and I think that was about it.
And with this approval, how quickly or how long does it take to get the permit issued?
Oh, it'll
Is
be,
there
we'll issue it tonight. I'll file it with the town clerk tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that'll start the
Nice.
20-day appeal period. So once I have it stamped in, I'll scan and send you a copy with the instructions.
Okay, so looking at like the 30th, the 1st, that type of
Yeah.
time frame.
So it'll start
So-
20
Yeah,
days, will
third.
start tomorrow.
That's it.
October 1st.
Page 2, second paragraph. It's a third paragraph, sorry. Notices were sent to abutters and the planning boards of all adjacent towns. The planning board convened the hearing on July 9th, 2024, and closed it on that date.
Okay, I just have to change,
To closed it on.
to closed it on September 10th, so I can make that change.
The other dates are correct, though.
Yep.
Robin, can you confirm that the new antennas are going to be mounted at 105 feet, which is below the existing antennas? It looked like in the drawing they were in line with the existing antennas.
They're 82.
So it looks like the top of the antenna would be 82 feet, and so that they call it the rad center would be 79.
So maybe that needs to say less than 105 feet.
Yeah, that needs to get updated.
What was that? I missed that one.
So under
Findings
findings, number one, so where it says 105 feet, where it
Yep.
says at 105, we want it to be less than 105.
So would be mounted less than 105 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
I like number 5. Will not cause any traffic congestion. No, I don't think it will.
Better not.
Not until we have flying cars.
Number 7's gonna have to get updated soon, huh?
Yep.
That's exciting.
Okay. Any other, I think it's just those 2 revisions?
Mention and decision about ZBA appeals case numbers, are those relevant to this? They seem like old numbers.
Yeah.
They're the original special permits issued by the ZBA for the original wireless communications.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it from me. Those 2 modifications.
Will do.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the decision for the special permit application decision number 2024-09 as printed with 2 modifications, and that would be on page 2, 3rd paragraph, to change the close date to September 10th, 2024. And then under findings number 1, strike out the word at in front of 105 and add less than.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call vote. All those in favor? Or not a roll call vote. It's aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion's approved.
Awesome.
So used to doing roll call votes. All right, so thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I'll be in touch tomorrow.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have that public hearing. I just realized I didn't do introductions at the beginning of the meeting. We could do them now. So we have here in the room, we have our planning board. We have Melissa Mayo, Gary Sullivan, Chris Montfort, myself, Chad Peck, Eric Diamond, and we got our town planner, Rich McCarthy, and our admin assistant, Betsy Fajol. So, sorry for not introducing us at the beginning. All right, so our next public hearing is not till 7:45. We do have a 7:15 appointment,
Well, that's been
and that has been
Was requested.
delayed, tabled, so to speak.
tabled.
Yeah.
Good way, good. So that has been tabled until our next meeting.
Well,
Or
it
is
might
it
be a little bit later. He talked about the winter in the email. so-
okay?
Until further notice.
Till further notice,
Tabled
I
until
guess.
further notice. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Great. All right. So, with that said, we do have about 20-ish minutes to go through some of the new business items before we get into our public hearing at 7:45. So, Rich, where would be a good place to start?
The fire station,
Yes. All right.
temporary occupancy
So,
permit.
Fire station is looking for a temporary occupancy permit. Kind of had a feeling this was coming. Can't finish the project until they move out and move in. So I do know we have, looks like we have Chief Kinney and we have our OPM, Steve Kirby on the Zoom. So I think I'll just hand it over to Steve, unless, Rich, you want to say anything?
No.
Okay, I'll hand it over to Steve and let him go with it.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yes, we are looking to get our temporary occupancy. As you've probably seen, a lot of work has occurred over the last few months. The furniture is been delivered in the building. The fire department move is this week. A lot of the boxes have been moved over by the moving company. We're anticipating the building department coming tomorrow. They're due in at 8:30 to hopefully provide the TCO. And one of the items on their list is your approval tonight. We've been transferring IT equipment and with Tan and his crew setting up the MDF and IDF rooms. The project, the construction, the contractor is doing punch list. We've had all the affidavits submitted by the architect. The architect has been putting together the punch list. So at this point, we're looking like we're in good shape for fire department to be in by the end of this week and definitely operating out of the new station by Monday, getting the apparatus moved over. Because the schedule right now is that abatement work will be starting on Monday in the existing fire station for approximately a week, and then they'll move right into the demolition of the existing fire station building for another week or so, with the phase 2 site work starting at the end of September, the 30th, beginning of October, and that will entail obviously a lot of the larger drainage basins, continuing the drainage on the east side of the site, anticipating putting in the parking lot, some light poles, and then working on the landscaping for both the phase 1 and phase 2. They're planning on getting everything in that they can, certainly with the plantings. Anything that doesn't make it will come back in the spring. We're still looking at how far we can get with lawns and / grass areas based on the planting season, but they know that they have to get everything in and grow it properly, so some of that may be in the spring. But they're working to get as much as they can before the end of the year.
Okay. So you're seeking a temporary occupancy permit for the building, not necessarily the entire site, just the building itself.
Correct.
And I know Bob has been out there, Bob Bullock has been out there recently, and there's,
Yep.
I think there's, and like you said, you've got some punch list items, and I think he has a few items still on his list for you guys to correct, as of at least yesterday when I talked to Bob. So, any questions from the board?
Is there anything substantial that Bob has concerns about?
Not that he didn't mention that. Are there any substantial, you said you have punch list items, are any of those like safety items, safety concerns?
No, there's really no life safety issue. That's all been taken care of.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Chief, what was that?
Yeah.
I was just echoing what Steve was saying. I was saying, no, there's no life safety issues. On the last walkthrough we had with the electrical inspector, Bob, the life safety issues, any of those types of hazards, whether it be tripping hazards or those kind of things, were all addressed. And, we're looking at touchless things like finishes and, little paint things here and there, or just things like that just, need to be adjusted, touched up so that we have a completed, a completed project that doesn't have any, deficiencies, if you will.
Okay. Yeah, your audio is really garbled, Chief, but I think I got the gist of it. There's no life safety issues. There were some electrical concerns, but not life safety, and the rest seemed to be more or less some cosmetic things on punch list.
And tripping hazards that were addressed.
And tripping hazards have been addressed, yes. Okay.
If there were any life safety issues, who do you call?
True.
Well, Peter Diamond has been accompanying Bob on the inspections also, so he's been providing us the electrician who's been taking care of his issues also.
Okay. Great. I don't. Eric, what were you going to say?
What is the duration of the temporary occupancy that we're
Oh,
requesting? What's the duration?
Yeah, so what kind of a duration for a temp occupancy are you looking for through the end of, through,
Do we have a limit of how far we can?
No, you said it, but based on what Steve was talking about, some of that landscaping, it could go into the spring. So, you could run it through the end of the year and then come back and visit, or just do this, May of next year, I suppose.
I'd rather run it through the end of the year, and if needed, we can extend it if the landscaping, if we need to extend it due to landscaping, that's an easy.
I'd at least just bring it to January, just in case.
Bring it to
Yeah.
end of January?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then talk about it in the January.
Yeah, it's good. Then you could speak at the,
Third week of January?
Yeah.
that we could,
Address it in the January meeting.
Okay.
Fresh business for the year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem.
That would be.
Okay. Any other concerns?
I'm concerned I didn't get to walk it.
I know, I was actually really
you
looking
can-
forward
you
to
can-
it.
I know I can't
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. I'm busy
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, unfortunately.
oh.
I know,
Yeah.
it looks beautiful.
No, it looks gorgeous. I wanted to get that sneak peek.
The committee's having a walkthrough tomorrow, the fire station
4:30.
committee at
Yep.
4:30. Yeah.
4:30.
Would that?
Might have to go take a
4:30
walk
at the site,
21st.
yes.
4:30 at the site. Fire station committee is going to be there, walkthrough. Yeah.
January 21st?
So extend through, that'll be the third
That will be
week?
the third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday, yep, okay. So, do we feel that we need to just issue it, or issue it with a contingency upon Bob's approval, or Bob's final sign-off on it?
Well, he's
So
gonna,
we can't do
he's
it
gonna
without
take,
our-
Well, he can't do it anyway, so.
He can't. I mean,
It's
he's
gotta
got-
be from both, right, so.
he's got, you have to do your piece so he
Right,
can do
right.
his
Yeah,
piece
never
on
mind.
the
Yeah.
site.
Yeah, that's right. Fair, yeah,
Because his is related to the site.
Right.
Oh, yours is related to the site.
right.
Right. I'm fine.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion for a temporary occupancy permit for the Norfolk Fire Station 117 Main Street through January 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Have a
You
second?
guys gonna fight over that?
You can have it. Second?
All right, so it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So the motion carries.
Excellent.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
Thank you.
joining us this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
Good night.
night.
I think I'm gonna have to go over there at 4:30. I've been dying to see it.
I really
Yeah,
want
me too.
to. I left for my
Rich.
son's soccer game today.
So we have, next on the agenda of, under new business, you could do the master plan. And you can do the streets if you want before the master plan.
Sure,
if you
let's,
want.
let's talk streets.
All right.
So we got two streets.
Ariana Lane, Toils End Road. There's a email from, I believe, Barry. I sent you previously, recommended acceptance. They're complete.
Yep.
That's pretty much the size of it. And your recommendation would then go back to the select board, and then the select board will hold a meeting
Okay.
in October.
So this is kind of related to that. You had a whole list of all those roads.
Big list, big list. Well, we got to work.
We got 2. So how's
Two.
how's that list
How's
going?
the progress?
Yeah.
It's moving.
Are you chipping away at some
We're chipping
stuff?
away. I say
Okay.
cuss, chipping away.
So you brought 2 to the finish line.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to do. A lot more to do.
Yes, there are.
Okay. But you're making progress.
Making progress.
Okay. All right. Questions, anyone? It's pretty straightforward. DPW recommended it. I don't know if I know I've driven on Ariana. It looks good. I have not driven on Toils End recently, but so. Okay. Well, I'd like to entertain a motion to recommend acceptance to the select board for street acceptance at this special town meeting on November 12th, 2024 for Ariana Lane and Toils End Road.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
So the good thing is, one is a newer road. I mean, it's kind of old in Ariana, but it's newer.
Yeah.
And Toils End is one off the old list.
All right.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So,
One of each.
one of each. Yes.
Okay.
You could tackle minutes if you think you're,
Can, so
Sure.
I was
Let's do
thinking,
minutes.
That's gonna be,
we're probably gonna have to do them individual, we have to do them
Yeah.
individually,
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
some can
all
vote.
vacations
different
all over the
voting and-
place.
So Eric was absent at the June 11th, so.
Yep.
So everyone,
You can vote on
Yep.
those.
all right. So make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 11th, 2024, for everyone aside from Eric.
So moved.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Abstain.
Okay.
All right. Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the planning board June 20th, 2024 meeting. Chris, you were absent for this one.
Second.
Okay, it's all those in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries.
All right. And make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the planning board meeting on July 9th, 2024. Chad and Gary were not here, so it would be Chris and Eric and I that can approve this one.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those
Aye.
opposed? Okay, I abstain.
And one more. Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the planning board meeting on August 15th, 2024. Chad and I were both on vacation or not here that meeting, so Eric, Chris, and Gary can approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed? I'll abstain.
I'll abstain as well.
All right, those are all approved. All right, Rich, do you want to tackle master plan?
yes, please.
Okay. So we have our master plan. It's
Been
been,
master plan. It's been updated based on the comments. Praneeth did email in terms of his comment that he had wanted to see addressed. So in my opinion, I think it's ready to go for you to vote it and adopt it.
okay. Any further discussion on it? I mean, it's been a lot of comments from not only us, but the steering committee, the community.
Public at large, yes.
Yeah, public at large. I mean,
And
it's definitely
departments.
been a very collaborative effort, which is great. Been working on it for over a year. So I think we're here. I think we're at the finish line.
2 years, almost.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
It has
yeah.
been almost 2 years. Yeah, that's right.
We can approve it and then start working on it.
Good cake.
Progress.
Should we have a cake? Yeah.
Okay,
A celebratory toast?
Another bus ride around the
Yeah.
town, the same way it started.
Jeez, yeah, that was fun.
Any other comments?
Just Thank you
Okay.
to everybody who supported it, provided input, and spent time talking to us, talking to MAPC, providing data to them. Special thanks to MAPC for sure. It's been a long time coming.
It has. It has. Okay.
Our other committee members, too.
Other committee
And
members.
and previous committee members, yeah. Yep. All right, well, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the master plan, I guess it's the 2024 master plan
So
for the
moved.
town of Norfolk. Yeah. Have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. We now have a new master plan.
Is Josh on any other projects right now, or is this the first time in like 5.5 years he is?
He's still doing Metacoma, isn't he?
No, he's kind of wrapping up on
111 Dedham.
111 Dedham.
Yep.
I got some thoughts.
Okay.
Couple grants in the work.
Yeah, put him back.
So Rich, town planner updates?
Yeah, I thought I'd just do
Got
a
a
quick.
few minutes?
Yeah, a quick update in terms of, as most people have heard, but the state had passed a accessory dwelling unit changes to the State Zoning Act, which it's a phase-in in terms of the effective date. The effective date is February 3rd, 2025. It allows for accessory dwelling units as standalone as well as attached to a principal dwelling. There's a size limitation of up to 900 square feet or half the gross floor area, whichever is the smaller of the principal structure. In adoption of the changes, there is the ability for the town to set forth some standards, reasonable standards. Dimensionally, there is the allowance to restrict it from Airbnb. The town would have to do that. If the town doesn't do it, then they could be subject to short-term rental. As part of the legislation, it was directed to Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities to put together either regulations or guidance in implementation of the ADU. I was attended a meeting actually earlier today, and the staff at HLC, Housing and Livable Communities, is working on, hopefully within the next 30 days, to be able to make a recommendation to the secretary if they're going to move forward with any regulations or guidance. So we should be hearing from that shortly. There are a couple of things in addition to that. So in terms of ADUs now, there is no familial, as many communities do, accessory dwellings or detached family-wise. That's not the case anymore. It can be non-family members. You could rent them. So that's a significant change in terms of the existing zoning that was in place before the adoption of that. They're, of course, subject to Title V, so that's something that there is an allowance for towns to do a site plan review for accessory dwelling units, so that's something. So where I'm going, I'll get to in the end, is that, and there's a so you can require up to one parking space per dwelling unit within the half-mile radius of, in our case, the MBTA commuter station. You can't require any parking for accessory dwelling units.
Within a half mile, you said?
Yeah, within a half mile. If we want, there is allowance, you could have more than one accessory dwelling units, but that would be through a special permit process. So the discussion was, do we need to take some action now at the fall town meeting, or could we essentially work on something and essentially wait? And so we do have the ability to take an input to see what comes out of HLC in terms of any particular guidance, and then start drafting a bylaw for which we can hold a hearing in January has to be 6 months prior to town meeting, that once we publish and provide notice to that public hearing, and then carry it all the way through to town meeting, a building permit be subject to those changes from the hearing notice. So it's not as if we have to do anything, but if we don't do anything, the default would be what the statute says. I think the general guidance is to do something. And what that is, we need to so essentially we need to kind of work on that, put something together, and then put something and publish it in January, because like I said, mentioned earlier, the effective date is February 3rd, so.
You're trying to spend more time with us in October, aren't you?
Yeah, well, October, November, December.
So,
Well, if the town special meeting is...
No, this would be, so let me clarify, this would be for the spring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were
we're
trying to get this on...
so I understand this, just to kind of recap what you said, is so this doesn't go into effect till February 3rd. So as long as we post that we're going to have a public hearing, so if we draft up some documentation by our November meeting, or I'm sorry, by our January meeting, as long as we draft up a zoning changes, some guidance, some governance on this by January, and then post a public hearing post that we're gonna have a public hearing prior to,
With the changes.
with these changes, prior to February 3rd, then anybody that comes to us, say February 4th, has to then follow.
Right.
Okay. So we've got some time.
With a vote, obviously, at town meeting to pass it. I did see something, so I'll send you a link. So HLC does have they put up a website, so information on ADUs. The one thing I did see this afternoon is that it would be subject to a simple majority vote, not a two-thirds vote.
Okay. Because it'd be a big lift to get something in place for a fall meeting.
Yeah.
Plus, we don't have
No.
the guidance yet from HLC, so little hard to understand
Right.
what we're working with yet.
And that lens of what's reasonable, like regulations, right? So that's kind of the
Yeah.
lens we have to think about it, what would be. So one of the discussion was that she'll be a busy person, but the AG has moved over, Margaret Hurley over to the HLC to kind of help with this, and I think MBTA zoning. So the thought is if we can get things to her in advance, we can kind of test them a little bit. If it appears that something might be a little bit,
Well, kind of like we did with the MBTA.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Tested it ahead of time to
Right.
get it, so.
and they provided some feedback on it. Yeah, some guidance. Okay.
They did. We got it approved with no comments, so.
I had also heard that you could condo this. Is that right? Like you could,
Yeah, no,
you
can-
could do an accessory dwelling unit and then condo the property. So now you got your main primary residence and your dwelling unit, and they're both condos. Yeah.
Sounds messy.
And then through special permit, if you did a special permit, you could have multiple, and it was approved, you could have multiple of these and condo them all. It's a little crazy. We'll have to put some guardrails on this.
Well, I mean, your guardrail is going to be your Title V.
It probably will.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah, in our
Yeah, and
yeah.
setbacks. The other thing, setbacks. I had heard that setbacks still apply.
Oh, yeah, setback.
So
You could-
whatever
yeah,
setbacks we
dimensional-
have,
yeah.
whatever zoning
Dimensional
setbacks we
bulk,
have, all
height.
the dimensional still applies.
Right. And then if
So-
you have that one parking spot requirement as well, it probably can't be what's existing already. It has to be net new.
Correct, right.
So that's going to have frontage requirements and curb cut requirements. So there's a lot already in play.
Right. So it
And
may
there-
not be, it
and
may
there
not
will-
get out of hand.
Right, and there will be reviewing through our existing zoning bylaw to look and see if there's any conflicting points, or we may need to
Yeah.
make any adjustments, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we have something in there already with regards to something related to accessory dwelling units, don't we?
And it's on
No.
it's on your agenda tonight.
We have accessory buildings.
Accessory
Yeah.
buildings.
Buildings.
yeah.
But
Basically
not
a
dwelling
shed.
units.
Yeah, you can, nothing that you can live in
Yeah,
Right.
Yet.
yet.
Right.
Got it.
Okay.
yeah, stay tuned, but.
Anything else on that, Rich?
No, so we're gonna be,
Okay.
so just quick and then you go.
Yep.
So we
We're
did
out of
ask,
time. Come on, speed it up.
we did ask town council to kind of give us like some I don't say guardrails, but some guidance in terms of, all right, this is what you can do, you can't do. And so I'll get that shortly from them so we'll have to get moving pretty quickly, actually.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rich. So next is our 7:45 public hearing to discuss the proposed changes to the Norfolk zoning bylaws, which have been submitted to the warrant for a special town meeting on November 12th, 2024, and there's 5 articles, and so we'll let Melissa read that in.
Okay, so public hearing to discuss the proposed changes to Norfolk zoning bylaws, which have been submitted to the warrant file for November 12th, 2024, special town meeting. Number 1 is to amend the,
Can I motion to waive reading the entire
you sure can.
That's too late.
public hearing notice?
Sure.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, we're going to go through them all anyway in detail, so nobody's
Trying
missing
to save you.
anything if they're.
It's up to you.
Yeah, no, that's fine, as long as people at home can see it, which I'm looking through the documentation, and it looks like they definitely will.
So we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second to waive it?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, so reading of the motion has been waived. There are going to be 5 articles. We're going to go through each one in detail. The first one is to amend the Norfolk zoning bylaws section 310-2.1 definitions by adding definitions for half-story and story. Rich, do you want to put that up on the screen to explain?
Sure, I'll have Betsy.
We'll have Betsy put that up
Yeah,
on
as she's
Zoom.
putting it up,
I remember that. That was a fun discussion.
So in terms of the changes to create a story and half-story definition was a recommendation from the building department. And at the August meeting, the assistant building commissioner came and talked about it, but briefly. So story is in the building code, so it just essentially just took what's in the building code and put it into the zoning bylaw. The real meat of it is the half-story, creating a definition for that. And the reason why the thought was that we needed to create is because in our dimensional table, we say we have a height, a number.
Right.
And then we have 2.5 stories in there as well. But we didn't define what a half story is. And as it turned out, we had a couple of houses that were proposed in terms of the grade and measuring the height. They would have been 3 stories. So they were potentially going before the zoning board of appeals for a variance for 3 stories. And so the thought was, well, anyways, what they ended up doing was they worked with the building department to redesign what was that 3rd story to meet in terms of a half story. So then they were able to continue on, get the building permit. So they didn't need to go before the board. But
So does this definition apply only to residential, or is this going to be throughout town?
it would apply to more than just residential, but we don't have, so for example, the B1 doesn't have half stories in it. Look at the dimensional table.
And my only concern is around the word sloping. Obviously, all roofs have to slope in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah, let me take.
but do we just kill ourselves by using the word sloping, and should we just kill sloping and just make it say roof? Because it's easier to
Well,
I
define a
think the
roof.
half story is what makes it, the slope is what makes it a
Right.
half story though.
Well, if you're in a commercial building, you could have one that just has like a little portion on top.
I don't,
But it's, so it's, yeah,
Or
so
it could be
true, so it's
situated in
basically,
the
it's
center.
usable space or livable space that is within that, right? So it's not just like a faux,
So I think that, let me take a look. I think there was previously a problem in the B1 because we did say half story, but when we did the B1 changes, we increased it to 3 stories, so.
We also do
And,
facades, though. Like, it's not an actual sloping roof, it's just a facade of one.
Yeah, but we do define, within the pitch roof or fake,
I'm not gonna die on this hill, it's not a big deal for me, but that would be my only point of contention, because I have to have at least one.
It's a one. Okay.
That's fair.
It's a one. All right, well, if this is a hill,
I mean, I don't see a problem with the word sloping.
So I don't either, but I think it's really, is it a facade or is it living space? It doesn't matter, like, are we just, talking through it, I think is
If
helpful.
we're at the point where we need to define what a half-story versus a story is, I think we need to think about it from the semantics of sloping roof versus non-sloping.
But a facade is also sloping, so it doesn't matter. Like, can it be taller because it's a facade and not living space?
So then it's just the facade of a roof, it's not the actual roof of the actual structure that's the livable space or the usable
But
space.
it's the same thing when you build it, though. It's still, you still have
Depending on
your
how far it
trusses.
extends.
Yeah. So am I digging too far into this? I just don't, I feel
I
like
think
at
you're
some
helping.
point, someone's gonna say, well, I want this, I don't know, there's gonna be some funky design, and then they're gonna say, and I have this facade, but I want it to be taller. And then there's gonna be an uproar.
well, we still have a height limitation.
Okay.
So,
I think if you remove the word sloping, you could end up with a 3-story house.
Yes.
And but the third floor is half the square footage of the second floor without it being sloping.
Right.
So I think that kind of, you kind of want it where that third floor is dormered out. So that third floor is,
That's what I read when I hear half-story, right?
yeah, that's what I think
Yeah,
of.
the
is-
sloping
is-
roof.
These postmodern homes that are being built in Newton,
Yeah.
they're
no.
more like that block structure.
Oh,
Oh,
I got you.
no. But I think when it's a half story, you think it would be sloped, so I think having that word in there does help. So we don't end up with what Chris is drawing over here.
Doing a little hat. Again, I'm not going to die on it, but it's semantics.
Gary? Eric, any?
I'm
It's
okay
okay
with
to
it
me.
the way it reads,
Okay. Any other comments?
although I do want to figure out what that is.
Any?
It's the Frank Gahey kind of structure.
We do not have any hands up on Zoom, and I think it would be, if you guys are okay with this, I think it'd be good for us to vote on each one of these articles
Independently?
and then we can move on.
Makes sense.
So if, I don't see, if there's any comments in the room on Zoom, if
Can we,
not,
since it's a public hearing on all of them, though?
so
yeah, but we're gonna go through each one of them.
we'll go through each one. We're not going to close the public hearing, but we'll,
Just
do
take-
you want us to vote at the end after we
We
close
have
the
to
public
after
hearing?
we close the public
Yeah,
hearing.
we got to vote at the end after we close it, the trade.
Right.
So, that's fine.
All right.
So any other discussion on this? Moving on. Okay, all right. So, the second article is to amend the zoning bylaws for, basically it's for the C6 zoning district. So, wanted to give a real brief kind of history of, this is a big one, so I wanted to give a real history, and we do have some guests here to go through that with us. So, the C6 zoning district is, most of us know it as the Southwood Hospital, right? It's also now 111 Dedham Street. So it is the C6 zoning district, so that property is just one zoning district. So that site is one district, which we're here to talk about tonight. It was previously a state-run, maybe even a federal-run hospital. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know it was a state-run hospital. I believe it was the first cancer research hospital in the nation. It was then sold from the state to the Catholic Archdiocese. It was previously known as the Southwood Hospital, which is now abandoned. GFI Partners had purchased this back in February of 2021, I believe. And GFI has been working with the planning board and also our town administration since then. So we've had a really good partnership with them. They've been to many of our board meetings here, and they've met with the select board and the town many times. There's also a PIP group that got established with this. And then GFI is here tonight to kind of go through some of their conceptual drawings, and I think they got a video for us, and they're going to talk about what their concept is and then how that concept is then going to fund the cleanup. And so I'm going to pass it over to GFI now and let you introduce yourself and kind of go through your concept, and then we'll circle back to then the zoning article and all the changes we're looking to make to this C6 zone.
Great. Betsy, are you able to pull up the slides?
So we do have Bill Buckley here with
Yep,
GFI
so I'll-
Partners,
yep.
and then he's also here with what is it, Ted Cannon, with his attorney.
Yep. Great. Chairman Peck, members of the planning board, Town Planner McCarthy, my name is William Buckley, and I'm the project director for 111 Dedham Street. And I'm here tonight with our land use attorney, Ted Cannon, and also our LSP, Bob Bird, who's overseeing all the environmental work on the site. I think you mentioned it. I think we've been to 4 of your last 5 board meetings, right? And if the zoning passes, we'll be able to come back for more. So, but thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. And we greatly appreciate the ability to provide comments on the zoning article, and we commend the town and the planning board for the work to advance this article. As far as comments from us as the property owner, we see the proposed article as something consistent with the recent findings of the site reuse and zoning analysis done by the MAPC, and we also see it as consistent with the goals of your new master plan, recently adopted moments ago. And after our participation in that zoning analysis and our ongoing review of the previous assessment work and our ongoing assessment work on the contamination of the site, we've kind of come to the conclusion that if this zoning passes, it's our intent to create a first-class, state-of-the-art commercial and industrial park in conjunction with, and that's really important to us that we keep sending that message, that's in conjunction with the extensive assessment and remediation work still required at the property. So if you could, the next slide. There's the existing conditions. That's former Southwood Hospital as it exists today, at least a portion of the site. Next, Betsy. So this has been presented to the board earlier this year. This is the conceptual layout, and what we're showing here is basically breaking up. The site is 96 acres, and what we're showing here is a 74 acre industrial park on the light industrial lot, as well as a commercial lot with frontage along Dedham Street. That's an 18-acre lot that we can see on the bottom right-hand corner of the plan, and a 4-acre lot in the bottom left-hand corner of the plan. This plan shows 545,000 square feet of what we're proposing as a multi-tenant flex industrial space, and we expect that to accommodate light industrial, manufacturing, office, and potential warehouse uses. I do want to also say that our focus has been on the industrial lot, but this plan, we think there's real opportunity on the 2 front parcels for commercial development to, support continued commercial and economic growth in the community. Where we look forward, and we look forward to your kind of continued input as we work to figure out ideal and compatible uses on those parcels. The zoning article is, and actually we could, as we've shown at previous meetings, we could run through a couple of the slides with just some of the conceptual. And this, obviously, you can see the Walpole Fields. We abut the town of Walpole. The newly constructed Walpole Fields are just to the north. To the south is the 1A, 115 intersection and some of the existing industrial and commercial in the town of Norfolk that exists there today. Obviously, to the west is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts property, and there are some residential subdivisions to the east of the site. We can flip through another conceptual plan that you've seen, and we're gonna add on to this in the video, upcoming video. You can go through. And we did want to, I think this is a very important slide, especially as we, and you've seen this before, but the zoning article is really a one step in a multi-step process for the redevelopment of this site, and we think that what's real important for the town is, and we've been very open, that in order for us to continue to make the investments in the remediation and assessment and the design and engineering for the site, there's a viable project needs to be kind of on the horizon, right? And we understand there'll be many more steps to that process, but we also think that for all the work the town's put in, that there's a real beneficial interest to the town. This and the project with the industrial lots only at this point has projected annual tax revenue of just over $1 million to the community. The existing site value, so the property is currently assessed at just over $5.5 million. And that is projected to increase to approximately $66 million. And this is just, we have a kind of a fiscal impact analysis expert that makes these predictions based on, some existing comps in the area and in the region. That would nearly quadruple the town of Norfolk's existing industrial tax base, which exists at a little more than $22 million. We would estimate there'd be probably at least $300,000 in building permit fees and administrative fees to the town. There's annual CPA revenue. We're projecting for the industrial park portion only an investment in excess of $55 million that we expect would create up to 350 new jobs in the community. One of the things that we really, that's become important in a lot of our new projects is, preparing the conceptual plans that you've seen in the slides, but also really starting to, giving the board, the town, and actually for us as well, a little more insight as to kind of how the site might function, how the traffic would interact with each other if there's potential trucking versus pedestrian and customer parking and such. So we have a consultant that puts together takes our conceptual site plans, models them in and actually puts together a video for them. So we wanted to share that with the board tonight and with the public during the public hearing. And we think it gives a kind of a pretty good perspective on how we envision the site moving forward.
When we're projecting up here, the people on the Zoom cannot see it, correct?
Andrew can,
They can? Okay.
yeah.
Andrew does his magic, makes it happen.
It's magical. I love it.
Are we done with, do we want to move on to the?
Video.
Video?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold on 1 second.
Hold on, we'll pull over.
There we go.
It's super hip. It's super
Let's see if I can start that over. Hold on.
You probably have to drag the slide.
Drag.
There you go.
This is the big blue.
You can say play again at the top, in the middle.
All right, here we are.
There we go.
humming that all night now.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing how much longer 2.5 minutes is when you're not sitting at your desk, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of work to do before we can get there, right? Admittedly, but we hope that helps. But just I guess to wrap up our comments, we think that this proposed project meets the goals and metrics of the zoning analysis in the master plan. It results in remediation of the site, the contamination of the site, has strong fiscal impact and job creation with manageable impacts, no additional school children, no additional residential impacts. There's still an extensive review process that needs to go. This will be subject to site plan review in front of your board. It'll be subject to Conservation Commission approval. It's likely subject to Commonwealth MEPR approval. So in closing, we support the article in its current form to be able to move forward with the continued engineering and design work. We also want to mention that we support the negotiation of a development agreement, which is a draft being worked with the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen, so that we're happy to memorialize what we agree to do is as in regards to the development of the site. We're happy to memorialize that in agreement. So, I don't know if I missed anything.
No, I just think it's important for the town and anyone listening to understand that the development agreement is very important because we understand it's a concern that, hey, if we do this, what if the developer changes their mind and they decide they want to do something else? So GFI's vision is what you just saw, and they want to memorialize that. So our hope is that we have that executed before town meeting so that the town knows that if you make those changes, that's what GFI is committed to do. So, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
It's good. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us again.
Yeah, I appreciate your time as always. This is good. I mean, we got an article in front of us to discuss, and I think at our last meeting we did make a few changes, which Rich will kind of maybe highlight a little bit. But appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
If you
We'll be
would,
available to answer
yeah, if you wouldn't mind just hanging around in case questions come up.
Hey, Betsy, we have a comment in the chat. Is it relevant? Oh, thank you. Awesome.
Before you get too far away, can you lay out the overall project schedule, what the kind of big building blocks are, that, an estimate, time to complete those, where construction can happen? Or?
Yeah, so it's, a lot of that's going to depend on what is the final strategy, the remedial strategy, right? So we're doing active assessment work this fall. So in October and November, there's going to be kind of teams of consultants out at the site gathering the data necessary for our full Phase 2 comprehensive site assessment, right? And that will establish, and Bob, I'm venturing out of my league here a little bit, but that will that will be all the data that's needed for us to define what the remediation is, right? So we're hoping that those will follow parallel paths. That if the zoning passes in the fall, we would hope to be back in front of you for site plan approval and in front of the Conservation Commission in spring of next year, kind of in conjunction with the submittal of our comprehensive site assessment. And as we seek site plan approval in front of the board, we would be defining the remedial strategies, and we would anticipate that the cleanup of the site is done in conjunction with construction, right? So in an ideal scenario, we could, potentially be started on cleanup of the site towards the end of next calendar year. Would be doable. There's a lot to happen between now and then, but that's what we'd like to get started. We're looking forward to getting that building down. Tell you that.
And then first building completed.
Yeah, so you're looking at probably a 16 to 18 month construction schedule for to get the first building up, right? To get the majority of the site work.
2027.
Because you got infrastructure and
infrastructure, right? So and then we would likely build at least 2, if not all 3 of the buildings at once as spec building space. So,
Okay.
Likely, if the tenant appeared before then, we'd be happy to build out for a potential tenant, but we'll likely get started prior to that.
And just to reiterate, the intent is for your company to continue maintaining the property throughout its ownership of the lot.
That's our history,
Yeah.
right? So we have, properties, throughout the Commonwealth that GFI has owned, throughout actually beyond the Commonwealth that GFI has owned for its, 30, 35 years of existence, right? So I can't say that we haven't sold the property, but it's, that's our preferred path is to own, develop, and manage.
Awesome. Thank you.
So then in addition to the developer agreement you mentioned, there's other legislative restrictions that are other hurdles that need to be
So
tackled at some point?
there's an existing deed restriction on the property that requires legislative approval at the state level, right? So that's that's actually also addressed in the development agreement. Is we need to identify how that's going to receive local approval in order to get the legislative approval necessary to lift that deed restriction. And then obviously there's Mass DEP review of the remedial strategies. Right? And because 1A is a state highway, you might be referred to this. So because 1A is a state highway, the project is likely subject to a MEPA review because there'll be state action with the highway access permit.
Any other questions for Bill?
No? We're ready to dive in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have the article here, and this is in our packet. And what's on this is, well, what's in our packet is, this is what's going in the warrant. So I just so everybody's clear, the article has 5 action items. So we'll call it that. And if you look at it, it says section 310, action item 1 is section 310-2.1, definitions in alphabetical order. Now, so action item 1, 2, 3, and 5 are all going to be strike through in bold. But action item 4 is to replace all of Article 12 in its entirety with new language. So just so you're aware, because otherwise it was just too cumbersome. Too cumbersome. So I just wanted to mention that. So we'll just kind of go down through here. I know that Rich had incorporated all the recommendations and changes from our last planning board meeting.
Yep, and that's what I have up on the screen.
So I mean, we just kind of go page by page. So
Do you want to scroll down a little bit more and we can get the fulfillment center? So, see, I'm missing Eon change there, so I apologize for that. But, so this change is to reflect the way our zoning bylaw is structured now. We don't capitalize uses that are defined anymore. So that's just merely just retail sales to lowercase.
So what we have printed is still caps on our packet, so that'll get changed.
Yes.
It'll get changed before the warrant?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, so there's still time, you're saying?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through, just kind of illustrate what's been changed, and then the other article that's in your file, shared drive, has already changed. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna walk you, so it's already been addressed?
Right, but if we have additional changes, it's not gonna affect something that's already been printed?
No.
Nothing
No,
printed.
no, because from tonight, hopefully the recommendations, vote to recommend and approve, I will turn it over to Justin, and then the select board will take that, so it'll be the refined language that goes on to the warrant,
Perfect.
right? So like I mentioned, we did the lowercase. If we scroll down,
Before you keep going, light industrial, that's a goal statement that doesn't describe intended uses like the other sections. So I think we need to readdress that.
yeah, so light industrial is just a description for the use, sub-use category.
But it's not. When you say in here is light industrial uses are intended to provide employment opportunities and diversify the tax base while not imposing hazards or nuisances, neighboring residential uses, commercial uses in the environment, that's the goal of a light industrial space. That's not the actual use of what light industrial is meant to support, as is described above for fulfillment center, where it says a facility where goods or products are stored on site temporarily for the purpose of delivery to fulfill. That's what's actually happening there. We're not describing what's actually happening within light industrial. You can easily apply the same statement that you have in light industrial for fulfillment center and research and laboratory facilities if you just change a couple words around. It doesn't describe the goal.
Right.
It only describes the goal.
It's a good point, because even under research facility, it says a facility that engages in research and development. I mean, you're right, it does not define what light industrial is, just says this is, you know.
So that statement needs to be updated to actually describe what light industrial is meant to encompass. And I looked through visual arts as well. A building used primarily engaged in producing and distributing motion pictures, videos, television programs, or television commercials. Light industrial is the only one we ignored.
Yeah, it isn't really a definition.
No, it's not a. All right, we can. Let's come back to it as we walk through it, and we can wordsmith it to make an adjustment to it.
Okay.
Here's what I found online. Light industrial refers to a diverse range of industrial subsectors in areas like food processing, textile, consumer goods, vehicles, machinery, and have less demanding energy needs than heavy industrial.
As long as it is what we've described within the light industrial portion, then I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, so that light industrial will be the header. So we're striking out manufacturing, putting light industrial in its place.
Right.
I don't think we're allowing food processing though, so.
No, manufacturing.
We just have to massage it to what we have in that, that table that we have coming up. It's gonna be fun to review.
We might want to.
So, I mean, here was a legal definition. Light industrial refers to a manufacturing activity that uses moderate amounts of partially processed materials to produce items of relatively high value per unit weight. Light industrial requires only a small amount of raw materials, area, and power.
That's even better.
So it doesn't get specific on like food or.
Right, which we do in the use table, so I would be fine with that.
Okay, let's come back to it and we go back to it.
All right.
So going down the second action item from the last meeting, we're moving the residential and we're not going to be inserting light industrial. It's just going to be straight commercial 6.
Yep.
And I thought we said something with regards to consolidating, well, I guess, yeah, because we're saying C2 through commercial C5, but we have a call out specific for commercial C1. Same for B1 and B2 through B4.
So those are specific districts. You know, the C1, the C6. Why is it? I wonder why it's cropped there.
Is there, I guess what the question was last time was, does it make sense for us to consolidate them and just call it business and then B1 through B4? The same with residents, R1 through R3, and commercial C1 through C6.
So the general goal was to try to keep everything within the framework of this district changes, not kind of go outside that.
Okay.
So that's why we limited to C6 in this. It's not to suggest that we couldn't at a future time clean up that.
That's fair.
Because we want to be able to say this is only impacting the C6.
Okay, no, that's a good point, valid
Yeah.
point. We're trying to keep it contained to C6 changes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Under the third action item, design review, it actually, we switched the number to 6. It should be 6. It shouldn't be 5. Because the way this is structured is that, any building under 100,000 square feet will be subject to design review through the design review board, as opposed to any building over 100,000 square feet would be subject to design review, but through the planning board only.
Okay.
So that was a change that was made. Same thing here, renaming it just to C6. Removed, and now we get into Article 12, which again is remove and replace, but in terms of where we were before at the last meeting to where we are here, remove Southwood, and then reworded the purpose section of
Right.
the bylaw.
And the whole thing would be bolded, because it's
Yes.
the whole new article. It's a
Yeah.
remove and replace, and the replacement would be all bold.
Hold
The
on.
old bold.
So just so that I track,
We asked town council, he said we didn't have to bold it.
It says it's published that way, so.
so just so that I'm tracking, what you're showing us,
I'm gonna show you what's the final language when we go to the remove and replace.
okay,
So
but
this isn't final.
this isn't final. What's final is what you're gonna show us next.
Next, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just walking through what you talked about, and then we'll,
These are all the changes from the last meeting.
from last meeting, yes.
All right.
And we'll go back, we can pull them up. So you
Yeah,
can-
I'm just saying it's hard to track because we're not gonna see this in a minute. We've got this in here, which isn't representative of this, and now we're gonna look at a third copy. So it might make more sense for us to put those two docs just up side by side so we can look at them side by side and see what the changes are, as opposed to even looking at this, because this is irrelevant at this point. I'm still looking at a document that says Norfolk Southwood property on it, where you're telling me we're taking Southwood out in the next doc.
Gotcha.
So it makes it hard for me to
So
like follow
follow
along. Yeah.
Can you do it, if this, people just have to shrink the window size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
just do that.
this is the remove.
So you don't want the one that
And
says
replace?
910. Yep, 910.
The remove and replace, right? Okay.
So that one, you get rid of, we want that one.
There you go.
You don't
Click on
want-
the next
oh,
one on the
wait,
left.
You don't want this one?
No, not
Which
for,
one?
it's the 910 version, because I bolded it, so that's why.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Bear with me, guys.
No, you're doing great.
So which one did you want?
It's 910.
Yeah, that's the one I pulled. Just had up.
It
The remove and replace?
Yeah. Should say
You
9.
have two of them in here, one at 445 and one at 447. I'm assuming it's the
440.
447?
No, the one that actually has 910 in the
Oh, okay.
actually in the file title. See the one with the
Yep.
910 on it?
Okay, so let me.
So what you did
You wanna do
before where you
side by
had
side?
it. Yeah.
This one,
If you just drag it to the right window, the other one.
this one.
Well, no,
No.
pick up the top bar and you snap it to the side.
Yeah.
Left windows right.
So grab the other one and then throw it up to the right. Click and hold it all the way to the right. Down a little bit more. You have to do it towards like the middle of the screen.
Yeah. So grab the top blue bar
Yeah.
in the middle, grab the top blue bar in the middle, and then drag it to the right middle of the screen.
As if you're going to move it again.
Alternately, you can just click the Windows key and right, and it will snap it over.
Oh my God.
You're working with a bunch of nerds.
All right, tech nerd, come on over here.
So you grab this here,
Yeah.
toss it there, it opens
Oh.
up, then you
Oh,
click
okay.
that one.
Boom.
All right.
And then if we need to make them a little bit smaller, I can just do Control minus. Oh no, that doesn't work, but it looks mostly
All
beautiful.
right, that's all right.
If you get the zoom on the bottom, you can, yeah,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
there you go. So 90% works. Okay.
All right, perfect. That Mike Myers skit from Saturday Night Live, was like, just Control F. Move. Yeah, move.
And I apologize for the fuss, but I'm an incredibly visual person, and like not being able to see the apples to apples comparison kills me. And all right,
Well, we don't want to,
Well, I
We want
appreciate
you
the
to
tech
live-
lesson, so.
yeah.
no problem.
You might have to do it again, though, in-house.
No problem. All right, so we're good to go to page 3 on the document on the right and follow along now.
Okay. Article 12.
All right, good.
There we go.
All right, so this is Article 12 that we're replacing in its entirety now.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so the master plan of town.
So you can look at the purpose section.
Reduce tax burden. Do we have to say for the light industrial C6 and commercial use district, or are we fine? Because previously we referenced it as the light industrial commercial use district.
Where? Oh, is it? I think it's the area I can't see because yeah. Okay.
C6 commercial use district, light industrial commercial use district.
Yeah, we're just calling it the C6.
And these,
But we're just calling it C6 up above.
right, but previous in the document, don't we refer to it as the light industrial commercials?
No, we
Yeah,
took
we
all that
killed
out.
that.
We took all that out. It's just
See,
called
this is
commercial
why
6.
Fucking pain in the ass. Okay.
It's just called commercial 6.
Okay.
So like on this one, we're getting rid of, we used to say residential commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Article 12 shall supersede the following. Do we really feel confident that it makes the most sense to say that we're striking all of Article 12? Because I'm seeing a lot of commonalities with the original language, with certain sections. And my concern is that the town might think that we're looking to supersede additional articles with regards to the zoning bylaws than had originally been already superseded.
Right. Should we just do track changes in a different color?
Or will this bold and strike through? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So the thought was that we would have a handout that we would have available for town meeting for people to.
because was it not the, recall, it was the recommendation of town council to to, because there were so many, the changes were so vast, they said you should do a remove and replace.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we could provide a handout, like Rich is saying.
Yes,
that
and
just
similar
shows-
like we do with the MBTA zoning, we can do color as well to create
The
a
handouts
visual.
have worked effectively.
They
What's that?
do. They do,
The
but
handouts have worked effectively in the last few times we've done.
Yeah,
But also having them on the website in advance is helpful. So people can, because it's a lot to read while
Yeah.
you're sitting there in the 10 minutes that you have before the presentation starts. So we should probably do that as well.
Yeah.
So where you're going to do it two ways. The handout will be the strike through with the replacement in bold. Is that the intent? And then this will be what it's shown in the warrant?
yeah. So in the warrant, it'll be just this
Right.
in bold, yeah. And the handout,
Because how do you communicate that? Because then they're seeing something different in their handout versus what they're seeing in the warrant. Obviously, we have to explain it somehow.
yeah,
I would
But-
say just like whatever's going to be in the handout, we would also put on the website so that they match. So when you walk in, you've already seen it.
But it's different than what's printed in the warrant. That's
Right.
what we gotta
But it's
explain
always,
is
the
why.
warrant though is like a paragraph that doesn't really tell you much
No,
about
the-
anything.
The warrant, yes, there's a paragraph that kind of makes the generalization of what's going on,
Yeah.
but all of this is printed in the warrant for you to read.
Right, and that's fine, but then, couldn't we put a note in there to say, something about, like, go to the website to see kind of this work in progress, but said in a more eloquent way?
if you want to look at, so in the file, I created a red line version of this, which we could do a red line version of the bold and strike through. It's probably easier to read than just black. Or
Like
we can
everything
do-
that's in bold goes in red. Is
Yeah,
that
we
what you're
could,
saying?
yeah.
Right, and any strike through would be red too.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Kind of like track changes in Word.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, they show up as a different color. And that would be a better way to explain it, because otherwise, what we print and what we put online would be like, well, why is this one different? Well, this article had so many changes that we felt, that we went with the remove and replace, but here's all the track changes that we used to build it.
Right, just a before and after, well, in progress,
Right.
and then final.
From a transparency perspective, I like that approach more. I don't want anyone in the town to feel like, we're kowtowing to GFI or we're doing something disingenuous with the zone. We're making changes, yeah, but I don't think they're that significant of a change from where we already were with regards to the zoning requirements in that space.
Right.
And I think advisory would want to see that as well.
Yeah.
I think
So,
advisory and select board
In terms
would
of,
want to see that.
to your point in discussing this, was that, it was kind of hard to read, the bold
Yeah,
strike through and
I get
everything.
that.
But it also got to the point that you're making, like, it's not like we're getting rid of a whole district and replacing it, we're making changes to it.
Right.
So it's a lot, it's a different order of magnitude. It's not a move and replace. It's really adding an existing bylaw. And so that was kind of the,
Yeah, but at least then there's the option to go and review what we've changed.
I
Right.
think what really got visually kind of confusing was the fact that the PMLD,
Right.
that was going and striking it through, and then new was coming in there. It seemed like a lot, but it really wasn't.
100%. No, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
It
No, I
just
know.
becomes a little leaner for sure. We are adding a couple of additional supersedes with regards to the bylaw, the zoning bylaw, local standards versus what we're allowing. But it's not that much more over, and it's mostly with regards to the size of the warehouse, which I'm not opposed to at all, and the parking primarily.
Yeah, and design review.
Right, the design review as well.
Yep.
So, but when you look at that whole Article 12 section there, it looks so much more ominous for someone who's not involved in this on a day-to-day.
Yeah, so I guess what I would ask, and I can ask town council, so I did show this in bold, and because that's the way it was advertised for the hearing. Bolding the whole entire thing is,
Right.
it's loud. So if we could,
It's a perception game as well. At the end of the day, the perception that the bolding makes, based off of anybody who's attended town meeting, is that we changed a ton of stuff.
Can we pivot back?
I don't think we need to. I think we're fine with this approach, as long as we do that handout, we do the website.
oh, we definitely have to
We
do
do the
that.
Chad standing
Yeah.
up in front of everyone during town hall to explain this in an eloquent way, which I'm incapable of, due to stage
So-
fright issues.
We will state and restate it, that is part of this whole moving forward
Yeah.
for this change.
Okay.
So we
All right.
All right, let's keep going.
It has to be. There's no choice. How's that?
All right, scroll down.
Purpose, standards, good. Let's go district boundaries.
So down to district bound. Can you take district boundaries to the top of the screen on
There
bold?
was no real changes from my understanding for that,
No.
right?
Nope.
So the next spot would be,
See, that's another thing, like, that entire section was not changed, but it's bolded because of the manner that we're doing this in.
yeah. So, again, I'll touch base with council, so maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be bolded on the, so where we're at.
So you would only bold the changes?
He would strike through the things that we're removing and bold, like what we're seeing more consistently on the
No,
left.
just for the warrant, I think we would not bold it, you know what I
So
mean?
the whole thing would be unbolded?
Yeah,
Right, because we're not doing
Since
strike
it's a
through and bold.
replacement.
Yeah.
Since it's a replacement, the whole thing would be unbolded.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
because it's just loud,
Right.
Yeah.
See if that's allowed.
yeah.
And then
I mean, that's my word, it
supplemental,
feels
okay.
loud.
And then,
And then
and then we
supplemental
provided-
is, these are the changes that we were removing.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't we just say, like, put a note at the top? I don't know all the legal aspects of writing a warrant, but, or the articles for the warrant, but couldn't you just put something in that says, like, this is the final language or something so
Well-
that it's, you know, so that it's not confused if it's not bolded, which I agree would be very loud?
Well, I mean, it does say that at the beginning, but it says it's bold. That's what.
Okay, so just change
So
that.
it says section, well, no, it doesn't, yeah. It says to remove Article 12 in its entirety and replace the new language in bold print. So that's why it's bold.
So, but maybe the problem is the fact that we're looking at this as a single article for all of these different sections.
No, it just says replace Article 12, Section 310.
No, you're right. A new language in bold.
Through,
In
it
bold.
just says, and no, it doesn't say in bold.
Yeah.
It does.
Number 4, to
Number
remove
4.
Article 12 in its
4.
entirety and replace with new language in bold.
Bold print.
Article 12, Section 310-12.1 through Section 310-12.7.
My gut tells me the council's gonna say it has to be in bold because it's a replacement.
We just say pretend this is bolded below.
It says bold at the top.
We're trying to save on printing costs. The less ink we use.
Oh my gosh, calm down, it'll be fine.
You have a notice?
I'm looking at the public hearing. notice.
Let's-
Where does it say that?
Oh, it's not on the public hearing notice. It's on the article for the warrant.
Yeah, it's on the
Oh, it's
article.
actually on the, okay,
Right.
sorry.
So, right. Sorry, Betsy. It's not on the public hearing notice.
Okay.
But it is on the draft. article.
Oh, okay, so,
So if we can change that language in the draft, in the article
in
to.
if the
warrant
warrant article.
The warrant
matches
language.
What says my
Yes, I'm
public
sorry.
hearing notice, then we're good,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, we don't have to bold it.
So we need to talk about the warrant language with our town council to see if we can not have it in bold and then provide a handout with track changes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question that is not about formatting, real quick?
Please.
But we're,
Break it up.
Yes.
So I'm just looking, as we were just going through these, I just noticed that it says, where'd it go? In the light industrial commercial 6 zoning district, only the buildings with less than 100,000 square feet of usable interior square footage shall be subject to review by the design review board. And then on the next page, the building scale says no single building footprint shall exceed 250,000 square feet. So what happens if it's 101,000 square feet to 250,000? There's just no design review at all on that?
It's yours.
Then what?
It's under your purview. You'll be
Okay.
looking at design review.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so we'll circle back on that warrant line to get rid of the bold.
Okay.
I think that would help a lot, but
All right, so district boundaries.
now we go back.
Yep, district
And
boundaries.
yard requirements and standards, the general C6 district requirements, subdivision. Applicant shall be allowed to subdivide a lot which may be sold or leased separately. The minimum size of a lot shall be 4 acres subdivided. Lots may be developed separately in other timeline.
All right, where are we going? Where are we at?
We're on, going next is the water.
Okay.
Wait, really?
So, on water under 4.
We're down to phase development.
Okay, I'm pulling it up.
So that, wait, we go back up to boundaries.
Oh, boy.
Just keep going up. District boundaries. So the second sentence where you say current R3 district denoted by the center line, that should be one word. Center and line should be one word, center line. I'm just picking, but it really should be one word.
All right.
Because you're talking about the center line of a railroad. So
What about rail bed? Is that one word?
yeah,
That
it
is,
is.
yeah.
Yep. But I mean, when you talk about center line of a road or center line of something, it's one word, not two.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I learned something new today. I didn't trust you and I checked Google and you
TIL.
It's in the
Second line.
second line down on the right.
Under district boundaries?
Yeah.
Under district boundaries.
Center line of the New York, New Haven.
Oh, there it is. Yep, I see it.
All right.
Center line.
So next will be the water discussion.
All right. I'm scrolling.
So everything that we've removed on the left, that was all related to PMLD.
Yes.
Whoa, no, you were right, Betsy.
Oh,
Go back.
Did I go by it? Where'd it go?
Going up.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh.
So town water, all new water connections for domestic supply or fire protection shall be connected to the town water supply system provided sufficient capacity exists at the time of connection. If sufficient capacity does not exist at the time of connection, an alternative public supply shall be allowed. If an alternative public water supply is not available, a private water supply in compliance with all federal, state, and municipal laws, rules, and regulations shall be allowed. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Yep, moving on to,
Location of drives and streets, neighbor streets.
down to dimensional down here.
Okay.
Wait.
Oops, I'm sorry. I went.
You've got so many other bold things that I didn't get to read yet.
Hold on. Let me go back.
The whole thing's in bold.
I know, that's why I don't know what to read.
I don't want to move it while you're reading, but
Keep
where do
going
you
back
want me to go?
Go back up.
Back up to like.
Creation of drives and
Go to the
trees.
street trees. Street trees.
Street trees is, I think where most of us were. I want to
Oh, okay.
pull the bulb out of this light though.
Right?
It's right there,
Okay,
stop.
here we go.
Yep,
I
street
got it,
trees,
got it,
number
got it.
5.
May be required at the discretion of the planning board, but no greater density than 1 tree per 25 linear feet. I don't know, I prefer 24 linear feet, honestly.
Oh, stop.
Needed for drives and entrances, a 20-foot wide grass strip.
So this is also another just nitpicky thing. After you have 20 foot, you probably should put in parentheses 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So you say 20 foot,
I
you
see
should
it.
have, say the word 20, then put in parentheses 20 then say-
25, yeah.
Yeah.
foot requirement.
All right, well, if you're
All right.
nitpicking, then we should say 45 and then put
Right.
parentheses.
Well, I mean, let's just be consistent.
Oh, yeah,
throughout.
no, absolutely.
Well, we'll consistently,
20.
yeah.
Be consistent. So, I guess Betsy, anywhere else you see
Yeah,
a number, let's spell it, and it's
Yeah.
written, then let's spell it out too.
definitely. Okay, 45.
Wow, how about
So
that?
this-
See
That
that?
needs to be 45.
Right, and that's a whole can of worms. We have 250,000
Well,
square feet
but
as well.
that kind of gets a little absurd. But
All right.
we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do number 7. No. I mean, we're gonna leave number 7 as. Let me rephrase it. We're gonna leave number 7 as is. We're not gonna spell it out.
250,000.
Oh, this would-
Not enough room on the check line.
No,
There's not enough room in the warrant.
no, we're not doing
And
that.
when you're set with, then just let us know, we'll go down to the next.
Yeah, I don't want.
Utilities,
I'm good when you are.
site
Yeah, are you
lighting.
ready to move on?
We're waiting on Melissa and
Yep, move on.
Okay. Where am I going?
So put letter B at the top,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
B1.
We'll go there, so building height will be first. Wait a minute, I lost my. Did I lose
Yeah, right there,
it?
B1, general requirements.
You scroll on the left.
yeah, no real change in A, B.
I lost
Can we
my-
see C?
Right there,
My
yep.
place, am I in the right place?
Yeah, that's good.
Take document
The
on the
left
left and bring
screen.
the left up now, so that A and A
Like
are
half a
aligned.
page up.
Other way. Other way. There you go.
Keep going. Stop.
C.
Same thing, you got 50 foot in A. You probably should spell it out.
Okay, but no major changes other than
I don't see any
industrial.
content changes.
Yeah, light industrially used lot is the only one. Commercially or light industrially used.
Oh, now I see the numbers thing, and it's like, oh, there's a 50,
I
there's
know.
a 10, there's a
I know.
50.
We opened a can of worms there.
We.
No.
It was in the one bullet point. If it wasn't, if I didn't see it there, I wouldn't, you know.
All right. I'm good to go to section 2 on the left if everybody else is.
Is that a yes? I don't want to move it if Chad's still reading.
No, I'm good.
You
Go
good?
ahead, yep.
Okay.
No material changes in section 2 or D. E has removal landscaping requirements for each foot of frontage. The lot shall contain 40 square feet. Requirement shall not be conditioned to require landscaping more than 20%.
So we did change it to 4 acres on the lot size.
Yeah.
What do we think about spelling out percent?
Stop.
Just, is that, no? Okay. I just-
Only if we're spelling out
I mean,
ampersand.
might be easier to just go back up and get rid of where we spelled out the word, because we only did that in one spot. And just get rid of it.
Let's-
And just get rid of that.
So we've got minimum front yard setback of 50 and commercial for 25. Now is, the way we measure front yard setback is to the front of the structure, right?
To the property line.
From the
Yeah.
property line to the front of the structure.
Right, so we're amending the parking so that we're not requiring parking in the front for these districts, correct? Okay, so then it's a non-issue because you have sufficient space between the two, okay.
You'd have to go for a special permit to put it in the front yard.
at this point, based on the changes that we're making. Yes.
Yeah.
Which means for parcel 2 and possibly parcel 3, well, no,
B and C, you mean?
B and
What
C.
they call them,
The
yeah.
out parcels kind of?
for B and C, that's gonna make for, that'll end up probably being a special permit for you if you do like bagel shop or something like that, which isn't a huge deal.
Depends, yeah, it depends on what they build there, but
Yeah.
yeah. Because what is it?
You'd want-
C is the larger one. I mean, that one could accommodate like senior.
That's what we were
Living,
hoping, yeah.
yeah.
Which, the 25 is a non-issue. I wouldn't want the parking in the front of there anyway. I want it to be a little bit more
Right.
aesthetic and... All right, I'm good on the beginning of this table. On the right, if we can scroll the right up to match. Okay. So that's the changes.
Can you go back up? I want to see that feet is connected to that definition above.
Lot yard. Where do you see that?
The word feet in parentheses is meant to go with,
Oh, it's meant to go with the minimum front yard
Yeah.
setback in feet. Okay.
Where?
the word feet under
Oh,
the,
I see you. Yep.
Ah,
Okay, so we're going from 8,000 to 15 acres into a set of square feet,
Correct. Yep.
and then 4 for commercial as well.
mhm.
Maximum lot coverages are changing to 60.
1660, oh.
Okay. Minimum side yard setbacks is 50 and 25.
Minimum lot frontage.
So that's nice. We actually increased it from 0. Is that what it says?
No, I think it was 10.
Anyway,
Right.
40 to
Under
2.
the plan multi-lot, yeah.
Yeah, it was 0, you're right.
Yeah.
the heading that says minimum lot size acres, end parentheses, can you put a open parentheses before acres?
Oh, good call.
Oh, yeah, minimum lot size.
You see it?
Yeah.
And the unit should be in parentheses.
Oh, yes.
200, 100, 50, 25. Okay, I'm good so far. I'm good to move up on both.
Perfect.
Minimum, all yard setbacks measured from, so. It looked like we were originally putting in a statement about all yard setbacks are to be measured from the lot lines, but that didn't carry over to this. You see that? Rich?
All
First
yard
bullet point on the
setbacks.
left side.
No, that's there. I saw it. So scroll up on the on the right side. Right there. Remember, all.
No, it's at the
no,
bottom,
it's
I
not.
think.
Large.
It's not at the bottom?
No.
Where am I?
On the right one, go the,
No, stop on the left.
stop on the left. Scroll up.
This is like having a bunch of backseat drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going up.
Yeah, it is gone.
I think it's listed somewhere else. Yeah, it's in D,
Oh, I see it.
it's in D above. It was repetitive.
Yeah, I thought I saw it somewhere.
So can we just go up real quick back to D?
On the right.
On the right, yeah.
Right there.
All yard
All yard
setbacks to be
setbacks
measured from the lot
yep.
lines. Okay, I'm fine with that then. All right, so now we go back down.
So sign regulations. Let's stop there.
Pull that up.
So that's all gone, that's all gone. And this is all,
Okay, here we go. Whoops.
Yep. Sign regulations.
Just change the title.
Just got rid of light and just. Okay.
got rid of residential, and we're not in certain industrial district, industrial.
Okay.
Parking requirements, the parking requirements. So I've got a concern with A as it's written. It makes it sound like we're arbitrarily pulling a parking lot number from the air.
Right. That we will determine. So
As
just
opposed
based
to
upon.
having guidance, which we do have
Some sort of calculation.
a calculation, right? I'm not saying that we need a calculation, but I think we need to have some sort of statement with regards to what kind of go ahead.
It's in E.
CE.
Betsy, can you, the right, can
Yeah.
you scroll the right up?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Okay, so those two statements are contradictory then.
So then the question would be is, do we really need A?
And then we need a provision in E that says something like, or,
I'm failing to see how they're contradictory.
well, it's saying that we have it's basically saying that this is what we're looking for, but we have the final say.
Yeah.
Is that what we're reading it as?
Yeah, that's how you're reading it. It's like, here's your guidelines are below, but we really have the final say.
Okay, so would that typically not be through a special permit application, as we do it now for other areas?
For the number of parking spaces, you can reduce the number of parking spaces by special permit.
Right. So here, we're basically
maybe the
just
language
waiving
E
the whole
is-
special
is-
permit process for this one zone through those two statements.
Just the building type, not the zone.
So based on the building type, not even the zone.
Yeah, because the rest of them are gonna fall under the parking section of the bylaw. You go up. If we go in the beginning of it, remember the local standard section?
Which,
Remember it was buildings over,
right, over 100,000, under 250,000. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, the buildings over 100,000 would be subject to this E, which is that one, the rest of it would be subject to the existing parking bylaw. Anything under 100,000.
But that's not what we said in the beginning, where we're saying that these standards are superseded, and we called out the parking standards.
It's superseded only for the industrial buildings. The parking standards are only superseded above 100,000 square feet, right, to give the board some flexibility on parking. And one of the things that the work group talked about was that your existing parking requirements don't really address the contemplated light industrial uses, right, in regards to this. So this is putting the standard in place and giving the board flexibility to modify as necessary.
Eric, how do you feel?
Can you scroll up and we can see the A and E at the same time?
I'm sorry?
Can you scroll on the right so we can see
A?
and E? Or maybe we can't see them both.
Nope, you
Yeah.
can see both.
Would it be helpful to add some words in A to say that these are the 100,000 plus square foot buildings and
Or just
is
reference that
everything else?
section?
Yeah.
It does reference it says E below.
It does reference.
It says it's referencing E below, but I think Eric's saying specifically going back to reference the statement about the sizes of the
Yeah.
buildings.
So in the local standards section of Article 12, it says for buildings in C6 commercial use district greater than 100,000 square feet only, Article 12 shall supersede the following sections of the zoning bylaw, section 3.10, 6.5B, schedule of minimum off-street parking requirements, and section 3.10, 6.7 D1, location of parking areas. So what that allows is in the industrial buildings, you can park in the front because our existing bylaw doesn't allow parking in the front yard without a special permit.
Right.
So that's where that exclusion, no, that's probably not the right word, I guess, but. Are you not,
So there are other types of buildings other than light industrial in the C6. So this
Right.
one here just says light industrial buildings have to have 1.5 spaces for every 1,000 square feet of building, but up above it, everything else is determined by the planning board,
Right,
correct?
right.
yeah, what do you think,
Well, the whole reason why I brought it up was because we're not necessarily working off of the standard. We're gonna go by thoughts and feelings at that point.
No,
But
no, you are. So for light
For
industrial
E, for
building,
yes, but as Betsy said, for everything outside of that in this district.
no. So light industrial buildings, you're gonna be going by 1.5 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Right.
Assisted living will
We've got
have.
that.
Everything else is gonna be subject to our parking requirements in our bylaw.
Okay, because we're only superseding it for light industrial.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, and then Eric's question was, does it make sense for us to refer back to that section of the bylaws or not?
I don't think you need to.
It's already referred to in the, so in the local standards section, it refers back to section 3.10, 6.7, which is schedule of minimum off-street parking requirements. That's the schedule. It says 1 per 200 for retail,
Right.
commercial, et cetera.
Okay. Okay, and we're only superseding that for light industrial over 100,000.
That's it.
Okay, I'm fine, thank you.
Moving on.
I'm good. Good, move down.
That's it.
That's it for this article.
Right.
That's it. Now, the use table.
Yep. So the use table is a strike through in bold.
Strike through and bold. It's going to be,
Can we print out the red line version?
yeah,
Or, yep, okay.
Yeah.
We should, yeah.
we'll print the red line version for town meeting.
Because there's not a ton.
There's not a lot.
Well, it depends, is the copy that we have in front of us accurate?
The copy you have in front of you,
I'm using my computing device with color screen.
Well, aren't you fancy?
Right?
Computing device.
let me,
My computing device.
We have a couple of categories in here that are not allowed in any district. So.
Yep.
do
Yeah, we were talking
do we-
about deleting that whole,
We were
Yeah.
talking about it, but we decided not to because we were trying to focus primarily on the C6, and that would be an additional effort in the future.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah,
Well, it's
we
very
spent
clear
time on
that
that
it's
as
not
well.
allowed anywhere.
And sometimes it's better to say no, something's not allowed, versus have somebody question whether or not it is.
Yep.
Electric vehicle recharger facilities. In C6, it was a no, now it's a yes. I don't know if you want to read,
Yeah, with the red line.
Read
yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So where was the warehousing?
That's down in the light industrial.
So we would,
So there's the light industrial uses part of the table, almost towards the end, where it says biotechnology fulfillment center, manufacturing warehouse, not a fulfillment center.
Yeah, so biotechnology gets moved up, which is existing.
Yes.
Yeah. Because, yeah, right, because it was in
There it
mixed
is.
uses.
It was in miscellaneous.
Biotechnology gets moved up.
It's like the last page, yeah.
page.
does it,
It says, yeah.
does it make sense for us to allow research and laboratory facilities within the B1 by special permit from the zoning board?
That's a, something to give consideration to, but not November 12th.
Well, I mean, it's a net new line, isn't
Why
it?
not? It's a whole new line, isn't it?
But we're not changing,
But
remember.
we didn't, how are we changing it? It's all bold.
We moved biotechnology.
Oh, because we moved it, we
I mean,
have to
excuse
bold
me.
it?
So research and
laboratory
laboratory is already in the
facilities.
bylaw.
It was already in there?
Yes, it was under.
Okay, so it's already special zoning. It's a special
okay.
permit
It was
from the
under
zoning board.
commercial uses, yeah.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
We're getting good at these use tables.
Well, it does make it a lot easier to
Yeah.
follow now that we've built it.
Now, there are two items that GFI would like to discuss for consideration for changing.
Okay. On the use table?
Use table and then the definition for fulfillment center.
Okay.
Well, I kind of talked to them about,
Right. And then we need to circle back on the definition for light industrial.
correct, yep,
Okay.
yeah. So in the share drive,
Well, you've got the use table up, so what? You said there was one recommendation GFI had for the use table?
yeah,
One-
so was to
I see it.
strike under warehouse the addition of not a fulfillment center. So just have a warehouse.
Okay.
Talent's not gonna go okay that.
Hold on. But we have fulfillment center,
Oh, we do have a fulfillment center in
and
there.
we define
Yeah.
fulfillment
It's a
center.
couple rows up. There's a whole new row.
Got it.
So the thought process being there are warehouse uses that are not fulfillment centers.
Yeah, I understand. So it's like, why say not when you already have fulfillment up above? Kind of redundant. And then it's all no.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate, are there any negatives to just leaving it as is? Because it's kind of like a de facto peace of mind for anybody that's going to vote on this.
But sometimes it is nice, I think, I don't know who said it over here, but it is nice to specify these are all no's, so that it's clear this is not allowed, it's not speculative, it's not something that's possibly somebody's gonna try and add later. It's clearly already defined and voted on, that is no.
I believe we do.
I kind of
yeah.
like splitting it, to be honest.
So we want to be clear of the intent of, not,
Well, it's going to remain split, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, does the
It's gonna
verbiage
remain split.
say-
But No, I
It
understand
does.
that. But it's like,
Now,
why
devil's
have,
advocate to
why
my
have the
devil's advocate.
terminology?
It reads, it looks really weird. Now that he's,
But it's like, why even say not a fulfillment center?
but it's more of a, don't worry, like, this is not gonna be like last mile fulfillment, like,
But also, it's up there.
But it's right up there. It's kind of, you don't need it.
It's a little overemphasis on it. And there is definition, for fulfillment center.
Should we add distribution center as well?
sir.
Bill's got a,
You mean add
A definition.
warehouse and distribution, or?
Just to provide a little background for the board on this, because I did have a conversation with Rich about it. First of all, I did want to point out that warehouse in the C6 was a no. So there should be a strike-through no where the yes is there,
okay.
right, in the final. So
Okay.
the existing schedule was a no. So, and just a little background on the fulfillment center. So I think we were part of the work group that said, yeah, let's put fulfillment center in there, let's do a definition, and, that's not what we want to do here, that's not what it's designed for, it's not the intent. What's happening in the warehouse and kind of logistics field, if you look back at the fulfillment center definition, that is, in probably not too distant future, if not already, almost everything is e-commerce now, right? So what we wanted to be careful of, we want to keep the separation there. So fulfillment, the Amazons and the FedExes and, those last mile delivery places, it's clear. But we're concerned about future tenants that do have a delivery component, that do have an e-commerce component and local delivery that would reflect more of a typical warehouse, don't get lumped into a considered a fulfillment center category, right? So we were just trying to
So based off
to
of our
balance that.
definition of fulfillment center, by keeping that as is, if for some reason fulfillment center, like we change the definition or something, or something happens where we're like, hey, this needs to be yes,
yeah.
we only have to change it one line item, not two? Sorry, I still don't understand.
We proposed just a little insert to the fulfillment center definition, which we think provides some clarity, but that's obviously for you to determine.
Yeah, I see that and I read it. I think and again, I've spent a lot of words, something I don't actually care about. If it's there or not. I'm just wondering why, all right, why not just keep it warehouse, not a fulfillment center? What's the pros and cons of switching it either way?
Yeah, it was just, and that we're probably less concerned about, maybe, and, more, would be more inclined to, if we could add the typical warehouse language
with
to the
local
fulfillment center definition. That's, I think, the more important piece of this, and you can leave that in there for emphasis, that,
So let's go over the
not a
definition.
fulfillment center.
But I don't think you need it because you're combining two different definitions then in the same line. It's a warehouse, which we have a definition for.
Well, I don't
We have
know
a
if we've
fulfillment
seen that.
center, which is a warehouse.
Yep.
And they're different.
All right, in that
Yeah,
case, I could be
fulfillment
swayed
center
to-
would be a third-party service, right? So that's really the difference.
And it's a separate use.
It could be
It's a separate use, right? We're combining two uses on one line. Or we're saying
The only
this is the.
difference as far, when I look up the definition, the difference is really that, one is a third-party service for stores that processes and ships.
Do we
for
have a
business.
definition for it?
We do it for warehouse.
For warehouse.
But we don't for fulfillment center.
No, we're creating the intent here was to create a fulfillment because of the objective to not have an e-commerce.
I've got it here.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure, it's an amended definition on my screen, so does it exist or not?
Which one are you talking about?
Fulfillment center.
That would be a brand-new
The
definition.
brand new definition.
Definition.
Brand new definition.
Right.
Warehouse we have, which is one line.
What's it say?
A building used primarily for the storage of goods and materials excluding retail sales.
Okay.
Yeah, I would support striking through the non-fulfillment center because it's a different definition.
Okay. Like I said, I can go either way. I just wasn't sure
There is
the
a,
reasoning for striking was, but.
when we're done with this, I see on Zoom, there's someone, like,
Yeah, it's
Someone had
Sandy
a
Myers,
question.
she's got some questions.
so when we're done with this use table, I don't think they're related to the use table. They're related to parking.
Yep.
So we'll get back to that.
So then,
Okay, so we strike through not a fulfillment, or does that even exist?
well, we just won't include it,
Yeah,
because
we just
that's
won't
new
include-
language,
right, okay.
so we won't
Right, so we
include
just won't
it.
include it.
Okay.
Okay. And then
Did you want to
Betsy-
see that, well, you read the definition, right?
Yeah, should we read it out loud? I can read it out loud.
The fulfillment center one?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, okay, so a fulfillment center is a facility where goods or products are stored on-site temporarily for the purpose of delivery to fulfill consumer orders associated with electronic commerce, in parentheses, e-commerce retailers, close parentheses, or similar high-capacity, high-frequency orders and deliveries. Such facilities may include automated systems, office space, and a pick and pack area to be used by employees for sorting and packaging goods and products for delivery from available on-site inventory. Fulfillment centers shall not include typical warehouse uses with local delivery or retail sale uses with an accessory delivery component. So with that stated, I think it's very clear there's a warehouse and fulfillment center are two completely
Yep.
different things.
Right. Okay. All right, any other questions on the use table? Okay. Betsy, what were the comments in, it was hard to read. What were the comments?
Hold on one sec.
I was talking about
She had a
permeable.
bunch of comments that I
Space.
couldn't answer, so I will.
Yep.
Andrew just brought them up on the screen.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. The town zoning map does not include the RR lots in the C6. Are you changing the boundary?
Railroad?
The railroad lot, no, I mean, we're not changing the boundary.
Nope.
Can this zoning article include provisions for permeable pavements since the allowable size of the buildings have been increased and proposed parking spaces will produce stormwater management concerns?
Permeable pavement?
The permeable surface, like
Yeah.
how much percentage of the site needs to be permeable versus the size of the building? Or the non-permeable
We
surfaces,
have
rather.
that, don't we have that provision in our site plan?
Yeah, we're not superseding that with any of the
So
provisions.
if, as part of the site design, if they want to use permeable pavement, you could.
Yeah, for some or, yeah, for some,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
stormwater will meet DEP stormwater standards.
Right, yeah.
So the answer is, yeah, that'll come up in the site.
There's not a prohibition against it, it can be
Right.
done, so.
We're not doing anything with regards to the way that this is authored to remove the ability to use permeable pavements, and we are still holding the zone to the same standard that we hold other sites in the town from a stormwater management perspective.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I think that addresses, all of them.
Well, you said there was one for was there another thing? Oh, we had to revisit the definition for.
Then,
You did the fulfillment
Yeah,
center,
okay.
those are the two things.
so the fulfillment center
And then
and,
just not including,
right, okay.
move that,
And the strike through, no, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Strike
through no.
That one.
yeah.
Then we need to circle
Then you go
back.
back to light
Light
industrial.
industrial. So we need,
Oh, yeah.
You had that good definition, do you still have
I
that?
do. So I found light industrial refers to manufacturing activity that uses moderate amounts of partially processed materials to produce items of relatively high value per unit. Light industries require only a small amount of raw materials, area, and power. This was just a legal definition from Google.
From IEA.org.
Well, I'm sorry, you're right, it's from IEA. Yep.
International Engineering Association, is that what it is?
This one?
Oh, the IEA.
Well, that one is.
Yeah.
You like that?
I don't know that we can take it word for word, but.
We'd have to, well, that one talks about food and stuff.
Okay.
We don't
no,
want
not
that
that one.
I don't know where this definition, this came from uslegaldefinitions.com. Definitions.uslegal.com is where this came from.
Do we have to cite them in the bylaws?
We need to change it. We need to modify it a little, but,
Give them credit?
no.
No, we don't.
Just use an MLS citation.
Everything we technically, all right, if you want to go there, we can talk about that, so. I don't think we do. So what we do say on our definition of word usage, we use, although we're going to define it, but words not defined in either place shall have the meaning given in Webster's unabridged dictionary.
Okay.
Does one of Webster's unabridged dictionary have a definition for light industrial? Just for comparison, right?
Right.
So that is something that we reference in our.
Log in.
Well, it looks like they're trying to use the word light as illumination.
Oh.
And
I just
not-
found what, the production of small goods, that will be
Yeah,
sold
the
to the
product,
people.
right.
Well, we could run a risk, small risk, right? If you like that US dictionary,
With the US legal,
Can you tweak it?
I mean.
Yes.
Ted's got,
If I may, just to keep in mind, the only appearance of light industrial is as a heading, so there's not an actual light industrial use. It's these uses within that would be defined. So just something to keep in mind that, no one's going to say, hey, what's my light industrial use? It's either
Oh,
going to be
yeah. Yeah, that's
biotech,
okay.
fulfillment, manufacturing.
Right, we're not going to define miscellaneous uses
So-
either.
God, this scared.
We had the word light industrial in many places, but we've taken it back out.
We're taking it back out, exactly.
so, well, that's a
Define
good,
it.
right, that's where, yeah, do we need to define it anymore?
I don't think you do.
Do we define any of the other headings?
well,
They're vague. They're self-explanatory.
So
Retail.
do we just toss this under miscellaneous uses then?
Well, but it's not a
Right.
use, so
no, it's just
we
a
struck out light industrial everywhere in the article.
Right, so I'm fine with that. What I mean is, like, we kill that, and then we move biotechnology, fulfillment, et cetera, underneath miscellaneous uses. Under that heading.
They're kind of,
I think it was kind of an idea to jazz it up a bit, so to speak.
I don't know that we necessarily need to jazz up our bylaws anymore.
We're proposing an industrial park, right?
I hear you,
Yeah.
yes.
I would leave it under light industrial, but you don't need to define it.
C6
Yeah, it's
uses.
I mean, it's just a heading.
Karen?
Yeah, but you don't want to
No.
say C6 because then.
No, you can't, because that's for all,
Right.
I mean, I suppose you could just not define it, I guess.
I think you just struck, yeah, you just remove the definition.
Is this the only place where light industrial is?
No.
Where else is it?
Dimensional,
Yeah.
That's right.
sorry, the dimensional table.
Yeah, so if we call it out in a dimensional table, we're calling it out in the use table as a category of sub-uses.
Yeah, the use table, we're calling it out, yeah, to tie back to that lot size difference.
But do we do a definition for commercial? I'm just asking. Not
No,
not
no.
necessarily in this article. Because that's also on the dimensional table is commercial.
Yeah, let me look and see.
Can't wait till we pull out all of the definitions and put them in an appendix. And just have them in one
I just don't
spot.
like, it just frustrates me that eco won't let you cap.
No, we don't. We define commercial service, but we don't just define
Commercial,
Right, well, so the same thing. This is a light industrial
Right.
use.
We don't,
I
we
mean, the
have,
definition actually does match, the definition that's here loosely works with how we're using it.
Well, it's
Because
not
we're
a
just-
definition, that's the problem.
What's
We're
it?
saying it's a definition, and this is how we're using the word.
It just says the light
That's
industrial.
actually a goal. That's a goal of light industrial work.
True, right.
It's not describing.
it's more so really descriptive for to break down the uses and a goal per se. I get what you're saying. Because residential is a category, right? It's not a goal necessarily.
Right, but
It's just,
for a fulfillment center, it's the same thing. You were trying to provide employment opportunities and diversify the tax base by not imposing hazards or nuisances on neighboring residential uses, commercial uses, or the environment. You're doing the exact same thing everywhere, so that's not a definition, that's a goal of all of these things.
You can move it up to its own section called purpose
I would just,
within the.
it is in the
section
purpose.
12.
I am perfectly fine killing that entire thing, provided that
What are you killing?
the definition,
Light industrial.
Okay.
as opposed to sitting here trying to reauthor it and tying it back to these things.
I think you kill it.
Well, I guess I would probably kill it if that was the, you know, yeah, I wasn't. Because I don't think we define.
you really dislike this?
It's not a definition.
It's not a.
You can't call it a definition.
It's not a definition of light industrial.
No, it's not. I get it. So, we'll get rid of it.
I think you get rid of
I think you can move it to the purpose area.
It's it's kind of addressed in the purpose, really, isn't it?
But it's the purpose of like,
It's the purpose of
the purpose of the
town.
planning board in the town.
Right.
I say we strike it.
It's a great
All right.
mission statement.
Let's strike it.
Yeah, we'll
could
strike it, because we don't
Print out
define
t-shirts
public.
on it.
No, we don't. Strike it.
Just gonna
Let's
take
move
that
on.
out.
All
Yes,
right.
thank you. That's my
Any,
bedtime.
anything else?
Getting cranky.
We're missing a good debate, probably.
Yeah.
I highly doubt we're missing a good debate.
Jake watched the recap at 11, so.
Yeah, that's probably better.
I want the Cliff Notes version.
Okay,
So that covers it for this,
Okay.
covers the article for the C6 zoning.
Yep.
yes.
Okay.
Not all the zoning.
No, we still have 3 more articles to talk about.
We do.
We've done 2 of 5.
To address the public hearing.
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions?
Oh, hold on a second.
But I think that's it for warrant article, our second warrant article, we'll call it.
Hold on.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Good night, you guys.
Okay.
You sure?
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Just in case.
All right.
All right.
You just don't want to go home and watch the
Yes,
debate.
Donna, you have a question?
Well, I still got an hour drive, so.
Oh, okay.
We're on YouTube.
Here.
Okay, so what are we moving on to?
Sorry, I was attending another meeting and been in and out of this one. At some point, I remembered something about the definition of the C6 recently being said that it's just one address.
111 Dedham Street.
I wouldn't necessarily say
There
it's
a
one
second
address.
address included?
Well, it's one, right now, it's
There's two
could be.
different parcels, but,
one area.
well, 2 parcels in the rail bed.
Yeah, it's actually 4 parcels.
4 parcels, okay.
This, well, No, it's 3 parcels, because the rail bed is the...
Microphone, please.
Thank you.
The C6 zone would be 3 parcels to bring it to the rail bed. There's one more parcel that would be part of the residential on the other side of the rail bed, right? And then there is 111 Dedham Street is the address for 86, I won't say the acreage, is the address for the former Southwood Hospital. There's an already subdivided piece, so what is shown as Lot C is already an 18-acre subdivided piece that is, I think that's 133 Dedham Street, vacant lot.
Currently owned by you?
Correct.
So now the C6 includes four lots?
It always has.
It always,
Yeah.
Okay.
nothing's
No change.
changed, nothing's changed.
Yeah, we haven't changed boundaries.
Yeah, the boundaries are still all the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, any other questions on, I guess, regarding our second article for, okay. Third article, to amend the zoning bylaw, section 310-51B, schedule of dimensional requirements, inserting new language governing setback for accessory buildings. Really, the next 3 are kind of all together. I don't know if we
They
want
are.
to tackle them all together, but the next 3 are all together because then it's section 310-5.3, dimensional special permit governing placement of accessory buildings, and then amend section 310-6.5, accessory buildings and swimming pools, deleting language governing the setback requirements. Yeah.
We covered it in August why we're doing this.
I'm just laughing because is this a good time to make it say accessory buildings and accessory dwelling units very quickly? To
No.
at least provide setbacks?
No,
No.
can't squeeze that one in there.
Okay, oh,
Hey, I tried.
all right.
It was a good try.
All right, so we have, Betsy, on the screen, you've got the first article. I guess,
Yep, 51B.
yeah, so we got strike-through language and bold. This is what we discussed, or I wasn't here, but what you all discussed at the last meeting.
So essentially now we take accessory buildings and put it in the dimensional table, so it's clear, which doesn't exist today. And then the special permit provision that was adopted last year has its own section in it within the Article 5. And then under 6.5, we just we remove accessory buildings, and now it just becomes enclosures, swimming pools, and mobile homes, and everything else stays the same.
So I have a question on that. If you scroll up on the table, it says business, and did say business 2 to 4, and now it just says 3 and 4. So why are we excluding 2? What?
Well, 2, those went away.
Oh, is 2 went away, all right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the commercial district is, so 4,
3 and 5 are here.
yep.
4 has its own. C6 we just talked about has its own.
C6 has its own, okay. All right, okay, that answers that question, thank you.
On the dimensional special permit, the last line, the zoning board of appeals shall be special permit granting authority. Do we need shall be the special permit granting authority? I don't know either. That's why I'm asking.
Which one's that?
Just on the end, just so, and just
Board
insert
of appeals
the-
shall be the special permit granting authority.
The zoning board of appeals.
I don't know if it's needed or not. I don't know what's consistent.
I would say the,
I would too.
yeah, I would say.
If you say is the, yes. If you say the, no.
God bless you.
Okay.
And down on accessory buildings and swimming pools.
Yes.
Mobile home needs an S, should be mobile homes, right?
Enclosure, well, if your pools are plural, then
We got
homes should be plural.
enclosures, pools.
They're all
Yeah.
plural,
All
yes.
plural, so homes.
Yes.
What are,
Well, no, that's an interesting point. Now, on this one, let's just,
Oh,
because pools is plural, but under D, mobile home is not. It says mobile home.
Right, so should we add an S?
Can you have multiples?
Well, can you have multiple, I mean, you could have multiple pools too, but I think it just means like generally, like, it's kind of the category, right? Is mobile homes.
Yeah, if you change it one spot, you gotta change it in the other.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to change mobile,
I-
the homes though.
no?
I guess you just leave it, because that's what it is down below.
Okay.
yeah, I'm fine with
No,
it.
I think then you're opening up a can of
Yep,
worms.
exactly.
Do we have to do a further definition of enclosures, or are we okay? Because we say enclosures here, but then in A, we're saying enclosures for animals. What if I'm making an enclosure for trees? Or gardens, or other things?
Yeah, tools.
Pools. Right, it's an enclosure, it's not a shed.
So you're proposing up at the top where you say enclosures for animals, comma,
Swimming pools and
swimming
mobile-
pools and mobile home,
Right,
to be consistent with.
the
Okay,
language
yeah,
below.
okay.
Now, do you
So
want,
multiple.
now, do you want to add
enclosures.
private residences in front of swimming pools too? Because that's what it says under C.
Well, B and C,
Why do we have a B and a C?
no swimming pool.
Oh, this was
So
the,
under enclosures, that could also encompass an enclosure for a pool. So if you write enclosures for animals,
No fence or other structure enclosing animals.
enclosure for pool?
are you?
Yeah, but all A talks about is animals.
It's animals.
I don't know. Why?
There wouldn't be an enclosure. What's an enclosure for a pool?
Fence?
A gate,
Fence.
a fence.
Fence.
Yeah,
You have
we're,
to-
we're literally using the word in the next one.
Right.
Every private swimming pool constructed after the adoption of this section shall be completely enclosed by a fence.
That's caught my eye.
Yeah.
That's what made me think of the enclosures. Maybe we're.
And we use that word
We're really-
enclosed throughout that paragraph.
I think maybe we're overanalyzing it, but.
That's our job. Rich is like, I want to go home. Why are they still
Come on,
talking?
people. Who cares? Anyway, I think that's probably getting into too much, but anyway.
I do.
No, you're right.
appreciate
C does
the-
start talking about
Right.
pool enclosures and. Okay.
I think we just keep it the way it is.
I think you just leave it at its enclosures then.
Yes,
Okay. Sold.
deal.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right.
So we.
God.
Okay,
Who said local politics wasn't fun?
right?
So any questions? In the room, on Zoom,
I've got nothing on Zoom.
board members? Eric,
There's
Eric's
nobody
studying
on
something.
Zoom.
I'm just wondering why enclosures only talks about animals and it's not general.
Well, A does, but then C rolls the word enclosures into the whole thing.
Right, but we have like a whole fence bylaws thing as well with like permitting processes, and it's all called out in other areas.
So what's your question?
Just,
Where does sheds fit in? If
Accessory buildings.
right.
So you can have multiple sheds, but one mobile home.
But if I make a shed and I put a rabbit in it, it's now an enclosure.
You can have multiple enclosures.
That's a hutch.
That's not defined. Let's see, let's stop.
Can o
Don't encourage them, is
worms.
that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, the details.
Any other questions?
Give him an inch.
Okay.
You could have only
All right.
one such. So now you
Motion
get,
over, we're ready to close public hearing?
I don't know, I'm interested in this whole hutch premise.
Okay, we're not going there. All right.
That's for the spring.
All right.
That's going with our
I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the proposed changes to the Norfolk zoning bylaws.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Public hearing is closed. We now need a vote on them. Do we, I guess let's just go one at a time.
right in order, right?
So our first one was story and half story.
Yep,
And
that one was pretty straight.
my recollection was we want to approve that as printed.
Yes.
Okay? Can I get a motion for that? To approve the warrant article for story and half story as printed?
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second? Okay, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Seconded that?
Melissa
I
seconded.
couldn't hear it over.
Yeah, it's very loud.
Very loud.
Gary,
I move the motion.
yeah, move the motion and Melissa seconded. All right. So now we have our second one is basically the zoning bylaw changes for the C6 zoning district. So, let me just recap the changes we're talking about. Well, there's several changes.
Yes.
So we're gonna strike light industrial completely as a definition.
Yep.
I got one change here that shows, what is it? It's on section 310-6.12. We need to change commercial zone 5 to 6. And I don't even have the right article in front of me, that's the problem. What's the best way to capture all these changes?
As presented and
As-
agreed upon
as-
during our meeting.
There we go. So, I'd like to make a motion to approve the,
Does that fly?
I suppose.
C6 zoning changes.
Captured by the record of digital medium of Zoom and NCTV live stream.
Okay, do it. Make that motion. That was-
Motion to approve the amending of the Norfolk zoning bylaws as follows. Section 310-2.1 definitions by adding definitions for fulfillment center, research and laboratory facilities, and visual arts and video productions. 2, Section 310-3.1 types of districts by renaming the section to light industrial/commercial 6 from light industrial to commercial 6, right?
Residential, industrial to C6.
Okay. Section 310-612, design review by subjecting only buildings with less than 100,000 square feet to design review. 4, replacing existing Article 12, Section 310-12.1 through Section 310-12.7 with the new Article 12 governing the C6 commercial use district. 5, Section 310.4.2 schedule use of regulations to add light industrial uses to the schedule of use regulations and all modifications and changes as reviewed during our meeting and as captured during our Zoom session on our NCTV YouTube channel. Planning board meeting on today,
Okay. do I have-
September 10th, 2024.
I will second that.
Awesome.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay.
Did
that
you
one-
repeat that?
No.
No, okay.
It's on
Then-
YouTube. Rewind.
I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the Norfolk zoning bylaw, section 310-5.1.b, schedule of dimensional requirements by inserting new language governing setback requirements for accessory buildings and that would be as printed.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the Norfolk zoning bylaw by inserting the new section 310-5.3 dimensional special permit governing the placement of accessory buildings with one modification to insert the word "the" on the last sentence between "B" and "special."
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. And I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the zoning bylaw, section 310-6.5, accessory buildings and swimming pools by deleting language governing the setback requirement for accessory buildings and inserting a new title as enclosures, swimming pools, and mobile homes as printed.
And mobile home.
Home.
I'm sorry, and mobile home, thank you, as printed.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. So that wraps that up.
Yes.
So do we have to make a motion to send this to now the select board?
I think we've already done that.
Is that-
Didn't we do that at the last meeting?
Well, we're going to send it back with the revisions. for
Send it
the-
back with you, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good night. Drive safe.
Good night,
I think
Bill.
we'll just, yeah.
Whatever you want, Rich.
Give it to him.
No, we don't need to do that.
No, I don't need a motion. That's what we're going to do. We'll do.
All right, so now, any other planner, so we're done with public hearings and appointments, finishing up new business. Rich, do you have any other town planner updates?
No.
Okay. Next meeting is October 8th and November 12th. You need to reschedule.
We need to reschedule
It conflicts with
November.
town meeting.
Yes.
I thought we already looked at that.
Yeah, I thought we already said we were going to
Did we?
reschedule that.
It's still in my calendar, so probably not, but I thought
We talked about
Talked
maybe
about it.
talking about it.
I think we talked about talking about it tonight.
that's my favorite.
I think that we literally did.
I thought we proposed a day though, too. Like we were looking at like the 18th or something?
And then we said, let's think about it and bring it up next meeting.
But what day did we say, yes, that made sense? And we were going to confirm it.
You're asking me.
So town meeting is on the
12.
12th.
Election's the 5th.
Election is the 5th. 19th is a select board meeting,
Yep.
Can we do the 14th?
Thursday the 14th. I'm actually out of town that day. I can't attend that day. What about the 21st?
Is this October? No.
No,
this is
November.
What about Monday, the 18th?
No, 21st I'm
You guys
probably going to be in
available
Chicago.
Mondays?
What, I'm sorry, Betsy? What?
Monday, the 18th?
18th is good for me.
Monday, the 18th works. Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing in my calendar.
Doesn't,
Monday the 18th.
That works for me.
So, yeah.
Okay. Melissa, 18th, Monday?
Just looking.
Okay.
I was looking for it in the minutes, if we already figured it out.
Wait, the 18th year.
I didn't move it on my calendar
Yeah.
either, and I would have if we,
That's fine.
I'm with Chris.
All right, and we'll just do that remote? Or are we going to look to have it in person?
We could do it in person.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, yeah, in person, right?
Do it in person.
Yeah,
do it in person.
the room's available.
If the room's available, we'll do it
Oh,
in person. Let's,
there's usually not a conflict on Monday nights.
Monday's usually
so-
not, yeah.
okay. So let's plan on doing it in person unless we hear about a conflict.
Double check.
Betsy will look. Okay. And then
No, that's all right. At the moment, there's nobody in there.
we got December 10th is our, and that takes us through the end of the year.
Yep.
Okay. Any other new business?
I was thinking of getting a hutch. Can you,
Stop.
Dishes or for your rabbits?
I haven't decided yet.
You want a curio cabinet?
I see him all
I'm
the
gonna
time.
catty corner it
time on
on the property? Is that okay?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
It's your hutch.
Adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
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 All's opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
dismiss